so that's a worry, but the tackle success was still high. But most remarkable number in this game was the 9.4 metres per carry average gain by the home side, a massive 2.7 metres per carry better than the visitors. Salford had less than 1,000 metres, which we know very rarely means a win.
I mean, the metres per carry number, I think you can, you don't have to look too far to find the reason for that. That whole Catalan pack, even when it comes off the bench, is just... It's just power and aggression, and like you looked at the way they lined up at the weekend, and you had Remy Casti, Willie Mason. It was 4 forwards, maybe Bousquet, and there was another one. There was 4. Yeah. There was no one to spell Alric da Costa, for example. There was just
Boss came on when Alric
forgive me, Boss was on the bench, but then the other 3 forwards were just monsters.
And Anderson playing in the second row. Means you've got a player who they designated as a prop playing there. Horro was actually with another player on the bench.
Justin Horro's there, and then so there's some.
He ended up playing in the centre when Inu went off, didn't he?
Yeah, but the point I'm making is that there's just some size.
Oh yeah,
size and quality in that pack that just never goes away. It's not like, say, for instance, when Alex Warm.
You're right though. Wormsley and Amor at Saints.
Yeah, when they
Richards backed him up a couple of games ago for a really good game, but he hasn't done consistently, and neither has what's his face who we picked. Tipped big at the start of the year, Andre Savelia. And he's just faded.
Boynton was going to be the example I actually use when you think about it. When Chris Hill comes back on, you always think, well, there's the lift, there's that push, and there's no need for that lift with Catalan because it's just constant. And even Willie Mason, who's not stealing away, he's doing 10 minutes a time, but he's making a big impact when he comes in.
Certainly in the second half stint yesterday, I think he's carried it strong and hard.
Yeah, now I'm getting to be a bit of a closet Catalan Dragons fan now that they're winning. I don't give a fuck. I'll be a Glory fan. That's fine.
That's fine too, yeah.
Okay, sorry, carry on.
Jody Broughton, 2 tries, 5 tackles, 195 metres, 4 clean breaks. Morgan Esgray, 1 try, 115 metres. So he's scoring when he plays. Dave Taylor, a try assist, 5 tackle bus, 121 metres, and Richie Mile of 2 tries.
Good to see that they rested Tony Gigo as well.
Was he rested, not injured?
According to the commentary, they're rested Tony Gigo. So there you are. And for Salford, who's still out?
Junior Sow, 3 tries, 1 try assist, 123 metres and 3 clean breaks.
He's a player I really like watching.
Yeah, him and Carney as well together is like an absolute power attack of a wing.
They're like the bushwhackers. Do you remember that old wrestling? Well, they don't look. They remind me of like the bushwhackers from WWF from when we were kids. Just these chunky little fuckers, just really hard. And I really. But whereas Justin Carney just is that little bit unhinged and a bit of a non-admirable human being. I actually really like Junior Sow, and I follow him on Twitter and stuff, and kind of he as a human being is much more admirable as well. But those 2 little guys together, just enormous, powerful runners.
Well, Niall Evans, who's a little bit opposite of a build to those 2. 2 tries, 140 metres, 2 clean breaks. Justin Carney, aforementioned, 1 try and 138 metres. And Josh Jones, 103 metres. And it looks like he must have been late to training one day this week.
He made to shave his beard off.
No, he had the blonde. He had the blonde, didn't he?
Oh, did he? Was that on purpose? Oh, well, that'd be why that is.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I just looked at... Yeah, I'm just glad to see he got rid of the beard because it makes him look less like Stephen Avery now.
Has he got rid of the beard?
Yeah, I think he got rid of it. Or
I was drawn too much to the stupid blonde hair.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, so we've got some feedback on this one as well. Kim Wiggins, which is a new one on me, she simply said, well done, champs, all the way from Sydney, Australia. So, fantastic.
There you go. Kim, for getting on board with the Dragons and with Super League Pods. That's great.
It is superb. Okay, one of our resident Catalan Dragons fans, Alan Walker, he said it looked like a repeat of last year. Each time we got ahead, the man in red turned the game. How Justin Carney stayed on after 2 punches was a crime. Our defence was not as good as it had been, as the ref kept us on the back foot. Big Willie's best game. Bosk was great at hooker. Man of the match was the fat touchy. Can't believe I said it. Great on the edge, great up the middle. I will say this in Justin Carney's defence, whilst it's a controversial refereeing decision, Dave Taylor's elbow was in his face when they were on the ground, and he was, I think, planning on penalising him for that, but then Justin Carney took the law into his own hands, so he penalised Dave Taylor for the first offence, bollocked Justin Carney, and it wasn't a punch, it was more kind of like an open palm in like that. If I'm going to play devil's advocate.
Fair enough.
If I'm going to play devil's advocate. Sarah...
Who do you think's the front runner of the Catalan side in the Man of Steel race? Would you say it's one of the 2 halfbacks, or would you say it is Dave Taylor?
It's Glenn Stewart for me.
Yeah?
Yeah. Tom Carney's having a good season, but
is this just because you look a bit like that?
No, it's nothing to do with that. Can you legitimately say that there's no statistical evidence to back up my assertion?
Well, in defence, certainly, and I suppose that's what we're talking about underpinning this whole Catalan.
If we're going to talk,
Run,
I mean,
yeah.
the discussion I liked on on Backchat last week was the difference between Man of Steel and Player of the Year, not Man of Gold, which is what Dave, Dave Woods called it. But I actually think that's not a bad idea to have like Man of Steel and Player of the Year.
No, I think it's just Man of Steel is our Player of the Year award. Don't fuck around in your head thinking it has to be some big bruiser who plays 80 minutes and smashes people about.
Yeah, but you can recognise both elements of rugby league.
Have the Hitman Award for the top tackler. That's what Glenn Stewart can go for.
Oh, fine, let's give him that one then. Todd Carney for me. If we're giving Glenn Stewart the respect he deserves and giving him Hitman, then fine.
He has to be the top tackler to get Hitman.
But he's the best. I still think he's one of the best players in the league.
Yeah, he's outstanding. You're not getting an argument from me about that. I just don't think he's been as game-changing with the way he plays.
I think from the minute he stepped out onto the field as a Catalan Dragon player, he has performed an 8 out of 10 every single week. There's been no off weeks. There's been no legitimate criticism levelled at him, which is something you could say about 2 out of 3 of the other people. Myler's been had a couple of games where he's blown out on cold, but with Carney you could say, well, he could have been better there.
Yeah.
With Dave Taylor, there's been 2 or 3 games where we said he's gone fucking missing. Glenn Stewart has walked out there and been the consummate pro, and out of all the Aussies that they've brought in this season, he for me is the one that's turned up and gone, I'm here to do a job. And there's been no element of him just enjoying the life by the sea. So I've got a lot of time for Glenn Stewart. But out of the 3 listed, I'd go Carney.
Fair enough. Last one on this one, Scoops
28, Matt, she said it was a very even game, could have gone either way other than 10 minutes of Catalan dominance early in the second half, and she thought that Hewitt refereed very well. I actually didn't have a problem with the way Hewitt refereed the game, and I quite liked him taking Robert Louis back 10 for going off at him. So that was,
convicted spousal abuser
Robert Louis, clearly, only likes to use his mouth on men. Right, Wakefield took on Hull FC down at... Why can I never remember? Bellevue.
Yeah, the Rapid Solicitor Stadium.
That was what I was trying to come up with, the Rapid Solicitor Stadium. 28 points. Lots of points again in this one. 28 points to 46 in favour of the visiting Arley Birds.
Yeah, and this one was really Wakefield's for the taking after 20 minutes when they were well ahead. Then Hull FC started scoring and never really looked back. I don't know too much. I've not seen any of the highlights. I listened to the game on the radio, but obviously it was broken up by other games on the radio.
Did you pick up anything about poor refereeing on this one?
I think
a couple of things I saw.
I think the main issues were with Gareth Ellis not being more severely punished by the official. He got put on report, didn't he, for that challenge?
Right.
And I think that happened at a stage when Wakefield were well on top. And obviously then the Hull side losing a man and a serious significant player to them for a period of the game or what have you, maybe the whole rest of the game, would have really changed things around. I know that some Wakefield fans seem to think there was bad refereeing, but when you lose by almost 20 points, I just think you can't blame that, personally.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. So, statistically then,
Hull
breakdown.
Hull are on top in every key stat in this one. 4% tackle success, better, and 1.5 metres per carry average gain, were the most notable stats wins for them. 7 to 8 break count means you'd expect a closer try count than 5 to 8. Hull kicked better goals as well.
Okay, so individually, who stood out?
For Thule Talanoa grabbed 4 tries in this game, 1 try assist, 6 tackle busts, 169 metres and 4 clean breaks. Jamie Shaw was back and firing, a try, 2 try assists, 6 tackle busts, 178 metres. Kirk Yeaman keeps his great run of form going with a try assist, 5 tackle busts, 101 metres, and Mark Minicello came off the bench for 141 metres. For Wakefield, another thing that tells me that maybe it's not a ref's fault situation was that only 2 players hit the mark as we look for in the stat performances, and they were Ash Gibson with 3 tries, 8 tackle busts and 3 clean breaks, and Max Jowett with a try assist and 122 metres. I have a lot of time for young Max Jowett at fullback.
Yes, they've got a couple of exciting young backline players, haven't they? Okay, Silver's Ref got in touch, although I suspect this may be a parody account.
No, Silver's Ref is his real account, but someone's gone on the Google form and put in that.
I see.
Pretending to be him, it's funny when you look at it like
Let's play along this way. Richard Silverwood got in touch, and he said, I won this for FC, fuck Wakey, # Leeds till I die. Fair enough.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah, quite like your style there, whoever did that, well played.
People are seeing the chinks in the Google form, aren't they?
Yeah, you can make yourself whoever you like. No, I think that's the first time that's legitimately been done as well. I like that. That's pretty funny. Hashtag at Wakey White got in touch with us. Always good to hear from you, fella. He said, tough to take after getting low from 26-6 down and didn't deserve that scoreline. Fair play to Hull though. That pack is fierce and they played well. Never mind. And on to Widnes. 70 Franny is a new one on me.
I think been in touch once or twice before, but yeah. Thanks for getting on board.
Yes, he said Hull's forwards were immense today. Hull would have taken apart most teams, but our boys showed that we aren't the same Trinity from previous seasons. Team spirit, enthusiasm, attacking prowess all shown throughout the 80, but so much defending on our own line took its toll. Hold your heads high, lads, onwards to next week. Langer's got in touch. He said tit for tat first half where defence didn't get on the pitch, tightened up by FC in the second half. Shaw and Tools standouts in the backs, Minnie and Taylor in the forwards, though unfair to pick anyone out. Big game on Friday is if we're to be classed as contenders. And Scoots got in touch again. She said very pleased with the win, especially in the light of a tough month to come. Price almost invisible. Great to have Jamie Shaw back. So the final game of the round, who'd have thunk it?
Remarkable.
Beaten by Oldham, destroyed at home at will seemingly. All KR, go on the road to Castleford and register 58 points to Cassie's 16 and nilled them in the second half mark.
Yeah, it was 20 points to 16, wasn't it, at half time? So they nearly went at a point a minute as well. Unbelievable stuff. I mean, we've spoken before this year about teams getting an absolute spanking and turning around the next week. And getting beaten by a part-time opposition like Oldham.
What astounds me is that 2% of people on Super Rugby predicted this.
Well, they must be the staunchest of fans, or just guessers.
Oh yeah, maybe so.
But or people who are so far behind in the league that they need to throw out some, because I feel like I'm going to start doing that now. By the way,
yeah, I think I've thrown out a couple of slight little speculators this week.
Yeah. Again, I've not seen any of the highlights. I listened to a bit of it on the radio. It just the parts of it that were on the radio were mainly just Hull KR cruising to the victory in the second half. So I don't know much of the context of this game. I'm afraid I apologise for that, because the radio seemed to want to focus on the more exciting game, Fev against Lee, for patches than these two Super League games that were going on.
There you go. So, what did the stats tell us?
Well, Cass fell under the 1,000 metre mark, and despite having a better team tackle success rate, they were roundly beaten in the attacking numbers. 562 more metres at 1.9 per metres per carry bet again. 12-6 in breaks, 5 fewer errors. They all saw the Robins bounce back from their cup humiliation at the hands of Oldham. Okay,
so individually, who did it for Hull KR then?
Thomas Minns sat on my bench whilst Tony Gigo was sat in my fucking lineup. 3 tries, 119 metres, 3 clean breaks. Kenny CO, 2 tries, 2 try assists, 215 metres. Ian Thornley, 2 tries, 1 try assist, 2 clean breaks, 4 successful offloads. And Albert Kelly with a try, 3 try assists, 129 metres and 3 clean breaks.
Did anybody bother for Catalan?
Well, the only player who hit enough things to get his name written down on my piece of paper is Jake Webster with a try assist and 3 successful offloads, but that was clutching at straws.
There you go. Okay,
that side. I did see a funny tweet from one of the jokey accounts out there. I can't remember. It might be the Offbeat RL one, because that's a Cass fan, isn't it?
Yeah.
Who basically described Albert Kelly as like a half-mutated Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle.
That's just bitter, isn't it, really?
No, he was congratulated on how he performed for being a half-mutated Ninja Turtle.
Fair enough. Okay, we got a few in on this one. DG Knight said, glad we weren't playing Oldham. Fatboy Rob said, absolute shite from start to finish. Tim G Radio, who's a Hull KR fan, said, my internet clapped out at the crucial time on Sunday afternoon, so couldn't listen along. If you believe the Cass Twitter feed, then it was #ref's fault. I'm still in disbelief, really. We're becoming the old cliche. Who knows which Rovers will turn up? Ollie Smith got in touch touch and said, well, Cass sounded shocking and were an embarrassment, but on a positive note, it puts Leeds further down the table. And we'll give the last word on this one to Tyler, Cass fan.
Before we do then,
go on
Tim G's point, I wasn't following it